Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. So, for this past weekend, I had a really exciting event that I've been looking forward to for the past couple of months. And for those of you who saw me there, you already know what event I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about Mooneyes. They just had their Christmas show that normally they do like a Christmas slash like New Year's situation, and it's sometime in January, more often than not, more towards like the end of January. But because Irwindale's closing, they had to move it up a month. And I I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. it's, it's weird. Like, it was exciting to be there, and it was incredibly organized, and like security was very different. Like, they had us going through metal detectors, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are we at Disneyland right now? But it's honestly, it was amazing. For what it was amazing. Like, the vibe, the people, the amount of clubs that showed up, everybody who was there to kind of honor the raceway and honor the event in itself. And I know the people who are loyal to Mooneyes and people who kind of know and kind of sit in that realm, they already know. Like, Mooneyes means everything. It doesn't matter how big, doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter where it's at. Mooneyes is everything. And you always make the shift, whatever it is that you have to do to get there. And Albert and I have been talking about this again for months. It was like, dude, this is something that we can't miss. I know, like, even last year was a blast. The years before that have always been fun. And like, for myself, I've been attending Mooneyes events since I was a kid. So for me, it's even more special. And I was attending, I mean, I've always attended the summer event, the Christmas, New Year's one. I used to do like 1 year on, 1 year off type of thing. Or sometimes I would go back to back. It depends. It used to depend on what was going on. But the summer event I haven't missed in I don't even know how many years. But being at this one, it just meant a little bit more. And I think being at the position that I'm in right now, with what I do for work, and just the amount of people that I've come to grow these really amazing relationships with, and just to be there with these people and share this last event with them. Like, it wasn't just for me, it was like for us. That's kind of what it felt like. Like, it felt like a very community based thing. Like, it was cool to see people just like handing out beers and just kind of creating this sort of environment that it's like, this is the shit I want to be a part of. This is what cars are all about. This is what the community is all about. And I feel like, and I know I've talked about this before briefly, but it's like so many communities that are outside of this, right? Whether it's like in Japanese and Euro, you know, all these different realms within the automotive world. I feel like that's what they're missing, is that specific thing, is that level of camaraderie, that level of togetherness, that level of, no, you actually can sit with us. Like, come here, kick it, have a good time, enjoy yourself. Let's laugh, let's talk, share stories, whatever it is. And there was something so beautiful about that, and getting to witness it and like see kids be involved in it, and just, everyone's bringing their kids around. Their kids are riding scooters and bikes and this and that, and like talking about what they did with their parents and how they helped their dad build this carb and put in this air suspension and whatever. It's like, this is the shit I'm talking about, right? So is getting to experience it for the last time at that racetrack, it hit a little bit harder. And I was trying to tell myself to be present, and I told myself I wasn't going to shoot video. It was just going to be photos. So those photos are coming soon. But it's actually letting myself be there was kind of amazing. And I really didn't think I was going to let myself do that, because I'm really bad at shit like that. Like, events and things like that kind of go down, it usually hits me after the fact, because I don't really let myself be at these events. Like, I feel like I'm there, but I'm not there, if that makes sense. And especially because I'm working most of the time. So I don't really get to enjoy what it is that I'm doing or where I'm at, because I'm really stressed out. And it's like, I have to capture this, or I have to shoot this one thing, or I have to do this. You know what I mean? It's a list that I'm basically checking off, and it's just constant. So by the time I'm done, usually most events are done. And it's like, well, I don't really have anything to enjoy. Like, I'm enjoying the fact that I'm done, and now I can breathe and have a beer with my homies. But aside from that, it's really tough. But this one I got to really be there for. And I got to enjoy it, every second of it, every minute of it. From the moment we got there, And honestly, how great that experience was of even just pulling in, because it's always been a nightmare to park there. It's like you have to get there hours in advance just to get a decent parking spot. But everything was smooth. They had it running a certain way, and I was like, okay, well, cool. I'm good with this. I'm good that it only took us like 10, 15 minutes to get through the gate. Like, I'll take it. Compared to years that have passed, like, I'll fucking take it. So it was rad. And then to get to experience it with Albert was even more special, because that's something that it's sad, because as we were talking about it, it's like, damn, dude, these are the memories that now we're going to have to talk about. Like, if there ends up being kids in the picture, or just literally anyone, even with our homies, like, let's say we're there with them and their kids, that's not going to happen anymore. We're not going to get to show them like, oh, dude, this is where me and your Theo were over here. We were trying to sneak in some drinks and they told us no and blah, blah, blah. Or this is that one time your dad's car caught on fire over here because he was trying to like go in really hot into this corner and shit just went south. Like we're not going to have that. And now it's just going to be stories, and it's going to be us driving by and seeing these, let's say it's a warehouse that gets put there in its place and being like, damn, dude, that right there, like that warehouse used to be a legendary track. And we used to have some of the greatest times, whether it was for drag, for drifting, like anything. And I'm very fortunate to have grown up there. I'm very fortunate to have seen drag and to have gone through all these different events. And I've even shown my personal car there, which is even more special. And the fact that I have photos of it there in that place, it's like, you don't really think about it. It's almost like you take these things for granted, and it's like you shouldn't, because shit like that, especially within the automotive culture, is being stripped away slowly, one bit at a time. And it's, again, as an enthusiast, you start to wonder, like, well, what's left for us? What are we supposed to do? And it's not their responsibility, right? It's not their responsibility, the city, the county, the state, to keep these things around, to make sure that we have somewhere to go. Like, it's not their responsibility. I get that. But you start to really think where it's like, well, fuck, how are we supposed to do this anymore? How are we supposed to enjoy ourselves? How are we supposed to continue and thrive within this scene for everybody, right? Like, Japanese cars, I would say Japanese cars are suffering the most right now because they're getting the real shit end of the stick. And being so involved in that community and in that culture, I can watch it. Like, I'm seeing it just kind of fizzle out in a way, because people can't thrive anymore. You have to watch your ass, everything that you do, whether it's like your car's too low or you're getting a fucking ticket because you're stretched tire, you know what I mean? And it's like, what the fuck? And then you have your bigger problems, right? Like your motor swaps and people getting refereed and all this bullshit. And it's like, fuck, man, like they're coming and they see it and they know what the fuck it is now, right? Because these motherfuckers are smart. Law enforcement's gotten really fucking smart with that shit. And I'm not going to turn around and blame it on the takeover kids. But at the same time, I feel like they do have a big fucking chunk of this shit. And this is a big reason why a lot of these things are going down. Because you got motherfuckers like this just wreaking havoc. And it's like, that's why guys like myself can't cruise in peace. Right? And it sucks because you always thought certain things were safe and certain things were okay, and it's not anymore. Like, certain realms I think don't get fucked with as much. Like, I think if you have like a luxury car, you're more so in like the Euro realm, you kind of get away with it. But Japanese cars are always, like, for the most part, pretty rowdy. I mean, some obviously more than others, but it's like you look at them and they have a vibe to them. And for some reason, it gives off like a negative connotation, and that's really shit to deal with. But now they're also trying to come after classics, right? They're trying to come after something that's like a staple for California. And I know it's starting here. Like, that's where this thing's trying to go down, is they're trying to go in with this whole EV bullshit and like just change everything about it. And it's like, no, dude, this is a part of our fucking culture. Like, it's going to be weird to be out in the street and the next thing you know, you don't see any fucking Camaros. You don't see any Rivieras. You don't see any Impalas. You don't see shit like that. Why? It's like, oh, because we can't, because the fucking state bland, blah, 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 blah. And we can't have this and do that and emissions. Fuck you, dude. Like, a lot of these people are just trying to do their hobby. They're not hurting anybody. Everyone's kicking back doing their own fucking thing. And Mooneyes is a perfect example of that. Is no matter where you turn, no matter where you looked, all of these people came together for classics. And it's good vibes. Nobody's fighting, nobody's, talking shit, going some sort of way. Everybody's out there having a good ass time. It's just muscle everywhere. Big block V8s, turbos, superchargers, crazy shit. Things that were built in a backyard, father and son. Sometimes you have the guy by himself, just he's a fabricator, tried to get down, doing this, doing that, making his links and all this. And you're like, this is what this is about. People trying to display like, this is what I love, this is what I do. And I'm not going to stop it. And that community is so strong. And it's like, this is where it's at. So it felt like home. And I know I've voiced this to you guys before, where it's like, I feel like home being at these events. Because it's like, this is where I started. This is how I grew up. And I'm not saying that Japanese cars don't have that, because that's also a massive part of my life. And it does have a really huge piece of my heart, because I grew up with JDM cars too. And it's something I'll never let go of. I'll never stop. Like, tuning will never fucking go away. And I'll never let it die. Like, in my life, I'll never let that shit die. And it's always, like, it makes me sad when I've had like car homies that have been in the game for a minute and they just kind of exit. And I get it. Life happens. You can't always continue shit. But let's say just because you don't have the car doesn't mean that you stop the whole fucking life, right? But a lot of people let that shit go. And I get it. Everybody has their reasons. You do what you do. I couldn't let this go. This is the one thing I have that's a constant in my life. And I can always look to it, and I can always feel some sort of just comfort being at, like, having this in my life, whether it's like working on cars, whether it's like going to events or something like that. Like, it brings me something that I need, and I wouldn't know how to picture my life without it. And it's funny because I had somebody ask me that somewhat recently, like, hey dude, what would you do if it wasn't for cars? Like, what would be your hobby? And I started lifting off other hobbies, like painting, or whether it's like photography, video stuff. I'm like, but I don't think anything would take over my life the same way. And I think that's where things get interesting, because this isn't my hobby. Like, the automotive realm is not my hobby. It started as a hobby, very much so, where it was like a part of my life. And then it morphed into this thing where it was my entire life. That it's my career, it's my family. It's every bit that is so important of me. It comes from the automotive realm. Inspiration, love, all these things, it comes from this place. And I'm so fucking thankful for it. And when I have my moments like Saturday, I get to really sit in that moment and say, this is why you do what you do. And because you love this so much, it's almost like it gives back to you. And I feel like the automotive world has given me so much that I don't even know how to put it into words. And thankful, like, I know I said that I'm thankful, and I am very, but it's almost like that's not good enough. Like, how do you thank a thing, right? How do you do that? So, and I can't. So all I can do is be present as much as I can. Because I feel like that's how I can give thanks to that. And I can look at my homies, I can look at Albert and be like, dude, like, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being in my life. And thank you for being present for this thing. Like, sharing again that moment with him on Saturday and going about and shooting and doing this and doing that. It's like, this is sick. We'll never forget that. Ever. Like, dude, you remember the last time we went to this thing and we shot here and we did this and we did that? Like, sick. What more do you want? Like, that in itself, like, having the opportunity to make those memories in that place at that point in time, like, that's what's up. That's everything right there. And I fucked up again because I told myself I was going to take pictures of like more homies and more candids and more this and more that. And I didn't. I was very much wrapped up in the moment, having conversations, giving hugs, sharing beers, having laughs, all that. And I didn't do that. And I'm upset with myself about that shit, but I'll get over it one day. But it's like, I'm just thankful to have been there. It was sick. And I loved it. I loved every fucking second of it. And thankfully, it's not my last event there. But I will be there with a couple friends, including Albert. We're going to be at the, what are they going to call it? I think it's some sort of like goodbye bash, blowout, fireworks show situation thing that they're having on the 21st. And I can't even put into fucking words like how excited I am to be there, because Albert and I were talking about it. Something ended up happening. One of our other buddies was basically just set up a whole fucking thing. And turns out there's going to be like 15 of us going. Like, we're going. We already have our tickets. I didn't think I was going to get one. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who was going to go. Turns out a shit ton of us are going. And it's going to be the best, because not just are we going to this fucking goodbye thing, which is incredible. And I mean, I love fireworks. So just anything with fireworks, just tell me there's going to be fireworks and I'll be there. Just for that shit alone. I love fucking fireworks. So going to be at this fireworks show, cars everywhere, people doing whatever they're doing. There's going to be drifting, all kinds of shit, right? But I'm going to be there with people I haven't seen in a long time. And I'm going to make all these memories with these people. And one of my buddies, Jose, reaches out to me and he's like, bro, one of the things he said, he's like, we better take pictures. And I'm like, dog, obviously. And I told myself I wasn't going to take my actual camera. So I'm just going to have my phone with me. And I'm going to be taking all kinds of pictures. Just all the homies getting all the candids, videos, taking all this shit. Because it's like, this is something I really don't want to forget. And I want to have these like vivid pieces that bring me back. So that when their kids get older or when we're with other people, I can share that stuff with them. You know, when the homies come down from the UK or they come from Japan or wherever it is that they're visiting from, and they say, dude, like, did you go to this thing? I heard it was crazy. But oh, bro, look at these pictures. Look at this video. Look at this thing. Look at this drift demo. Blah, 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 blah. I have to make it a point to do that. And I know I'm so shit at it because it's like I shoot everything else. I will shoot everything else. But myself and the people I'm with, or even just the people I'm with. And it's like, damn it. Again, we've talked about this before. Our parents shot everything. My mom always had a disposable camera or some sort of film camera in hand, and she was always shooting everything. And it's funny because I give her shit now because she takes pictures of all this stuff, right? Whether it's like we're just chilling with family, we're just at the house, whatever. And then I'm like, fuck, dude, like, stop. You kind of feel like a kid again, right? Where you're like, dude, just chill. But then there's a reason why she's doing it. And it's because she has all these pieces. And now she has something, a tool that's readily available to her that she can just shoot everything. And I'm like, fuck, I need to continue and look at that and like take notes from her book. Because that's the shit that I'm missing is I'll shoot stuff that I'm at. I'll shoot things and places and whatever, but I'll never shoot the people. And I got to shift that. I got to fucking do that more often, you know? So I'm really excited for the 21st. I'm excited for what's to come. That's going to be really fucking sad because that's it. That's the last event that's ever going to take place at Irwindale. So it's going to suck to say goodbye to that. But I love the people that I'm going to share it with. And I already know it's going to be a fucking night to remember. So I'm extremely excited. Like there isn't enough words for me to explain how fucking excited I am. So we'll see how all that comes. I know I have a couple weeks, so I'll let you guys know how the buildup is going. But I can't wait to get on here and talk about it. It's going to be sick. I'm really, really stoked for that. Before I even close that out, one thing I wanted to mention was like, being able to see all the people and receive love that way that day just solidifies why I love the scene so much. That's one thing I wanted to mention. I'm very, very thankful for that. Having association with certain teams is still fucking mind-blowing to me. Walking around taking pictures, saying people coming up to me and being like, dude, where's Genocide at? Where's this? Where's so-and-so? And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why are you asking me? But it's always an honor to be associated with them and to be associated with other people, other teams. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's fucking humbling. It's so fucking humbling to have that. And I love all these people for doing that and for putting me in this position and for putting me on too. Because if it's not for them, you know, it's that level of exposure is very, very different. That level of love, that level of support is very fucking different. And also something too, with that love and the support thing, I need to give a massive, massive, massive congratulations to Rosie and Oscar from Los Coyotes, because they are engaged. And I had the honor of shooting an engagement for them at Mooneyes. So it's like, not only did I have this one event that was going to be the final of that, and just how special everything was, but then I got to shoot an engagement. Like, what? Like, I'm never going to forget that. Never in my life. And I've shot a wedding before, or weddings before, but I've never shot an engagement. And so for me, it's like, that's something I'm never going to forget, right? Last Mooneyes at Irwindale, first engagement, like, is crazy. And for some people that I love dearly, and they are just some of the most incredible humans in the world. Like, that entire club, like, everybody from the Coyotes are just, I can't even describe them. They're so warm. They're so loving. They're so giving. They're so accepting. Like, they made me feel like family from the very beginning. And every single one of them, they're all incredible people. All of them. And the cool thing about that too is I got to share that experience with Albert, right? Where he's getting to watch me shoot and, you know, shoot some BTS and like have beers with them and laughs and just kind of be in this whole thing. And it's like, this shit is so special, dude. Like, I love that. And it got me thinking as I was rolling through the day. And it's like, you see, I get so wrapped up in my life and like where, like, these certain milestones that I haven't hit yet. And that I haven't done this or I haven't done that. And it's like, I forget and I lose the moments that I'm in a lot of the time. And I can't do shit like that anymore. Because it's like, I'm getting older and I'm letting these things pass me by. And again, I'm there, but I'm not present. So it's like, it's almost like I wasn't even there. It doesn't even make sense. But here, it's like, I got to experience it in a different way and share it with somebody. And it's like, this is what this is all about. Like, I love this shit. This is what this is all about, 100%. And it's like, I need to let myself do that more. I need to let myself live and go and be, and however it is I need to do shit, right? So like, even on the way home on Saturday, Albert and I are sitting there talking about the whole day, going over everything. We get some grub, chilling out. He dips out. And then Sebastian calls me and I'm like, well, you know what? Why the fuck wouldn't I want to spend the night with my brother? So it's like, fuck yeah. Let's go kick back. He wanted to watch a UFC fight, so we're chilling. Literally just kicking back, watching UFC. Chill, we talk for a little bit, go over the day. Come home, I knock out. And I'm like, you see, this is the whole, as I sat in bed before I knocked out, I'm like, this is the type of shit that I love. This is what life needs to be about. Me doing the things that I really love and that I really have a passion for, and things that I really want to do, and not put myself on hold for anyone or anything. Because I would do that a lot. And I'm so fucking guilty of doing shit like that, where it's like, I'll set time aside or set maybes, or it's like, I'm going to cancel these plans just in case this person hits me up, or, you know, and it's like, fuck, dude, I've lost out. I feel like I've lost out on so much doing shit like that, especially in the recent years. And Saturday was the first time in a long time that I let myself really just kind of be and go about life the way I wanted to go about it for myself. And I even experienced it too the day I went to that show out in the Valley for Cruiser Fest. That was something I really wanted to do. I really wanted to be a part of that. I really wanted to capture these moments and, you know, chill out with Bams, Natasha, you know, Mike, everybody, you know, Jess, like just everybody that was there. Everybody that was there. And it's like, I need more of that. I need to do more of that. And I told myself, not just starting, I'm not going to wait for the new year. Why the fuck am I going to wait? Doing this shit right now. Make the change right now. It's just like we talked about, right? Why the fuck are you going to wait? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't even know what's going to happen for the rest of the day today. So do shit right now. Why wait? Oh, for the new year. No. Start that shit right now. Because then come the new year, you're already going to be ahead. So do that. So the more that I can get myself in this mindset, I'm going to act and do things a little bit differently. So then Sunday comes around. And as I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I started thinking about the podcast. And I'm like, what am I gonna talk about this week? Right? Like I want to talk about Mooneyes. I want to talk about these things. I want to talk about my homies in love and them getting engaged and, me chilling and making memories and laughing and talking and all this. But like, what is it? What is it? So I came across this like little passage and I wanted to read it to you guys. And we'll jump into little things here and there, but I don't want to make this like too crazy or too long of an episode, to be honest with you. But this is what I read. And it goes like this. The truth is, there are certain seasons of your story you cannot skip. Life itself isn't meant to be lived in constant ease. It's through the ache of growth that you find the moments worth remembering. You needed to lose to recognize what's worth holding on to, and you needed to feel pain to understand the depth of love. You needed to break to learn the beauty it is to rebuild yourself. These seasons of struggle and surrender are not there to defeat you. They are there to shape you, to awaken something deeper within. It's never the easy moments that define us. It's the ones that ask us to stretch, to rise, and to honor our capacity to heal, endure, and transform. This is your sign to keep going, to believe and to trust that extraordinary chapters of your life are waiting just ahead. And when I read that, it's almost like sometimes it's weird how you will come across passages or you'll come across certain things, whether it's like on Instagram or you're just kind of surfing online or you come to something on YouTube or whatever. It's weird. And I'm not saying I needed this, like I needed to read this, but I did. I needed to come across this to understand all of it. And these are things I think about on the daily. These are things that I think about just constantly. But the first part, I think, hits really, really close to home. And it's just that there are certain seasons of your story that you can't skip, right? Because you can't. You have to live in the moments, as shit as they are sometimes. But it's a part of the game. It's a part of the story. This is how things unfold. So it brought me back to Saturday. It brought me back to everything before that. And it's like, okay, how do I make more of those? How do I put more time to make more of these things, to make myself feel more of this way? Because despite certain things being difficult, whether it's like with family, my personal, professional, whatever, it's a part of it. But look at the other side of that too, because it's very much there. It's very much present. And I get lost in it once in a while. And I need to remind myself. So when I see things like this, it's like, okay, this is, as cheesy as it is, it's like it's for a reason. This is supposed to shape me. This is supposed to help me. This is going to mold me for whatever it is that's coming at me. This is going to change me. All of this shit that's happening right now is going to change me. Right? Like I'm needing to feel the pain to understand certain things. I'm needing to break in order to rebuild myself. And I feel like I've been breaking for so long and constantly trying to put myself back together, but it's like I'll let the pieces break again. And sometimes it's my own doing. Sometimes I'll fucking break it down myself. And it's not because I'm a glutton for punishment, but I feel like sometimes I get so used to receiving a certain treatment, or I get so used to feeling a certain way that I just kind of know what to do with it. And just because you're used to accepting certain types of behavior and certain types of thing doesn't mean that it's normal. It doesn't mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean that you should accept and live life that way. You get me? Like you have to know when to stop. You have to know when to put certain things to rest and say, okay, this is enough. And I'm reaching so many of these points now, even in the last couple weeks, that I'm reaching certain points, certain heights, and I'm saying, this is fucking ridiculous. This is enough. This is where you shift. This is where things change. Like you need to pivot, because if you don't, this cycle's never going to stop. And it's tough because I feel like life will constantly teach you shit until you learn. And it's going to get harder and uglier and messier every fucking time because you're not learning, right? So it's like life in itself has to pivot for you. And it's like, okay, so you didn't fucking get it this time. Let me fucking show you something. And then, Okay, you didn't get it that time. All right, I got it. Let me one up that one and one up. And it's like life is going to constantly one up the situation until you sit there and you're on the ground in pieces. And I'm not saying that I've reached that moment where I'm on the ground and in pieces. I've had moments of that for sure, where I've like stumbled, and I've definitely fucking scraped my knees a couple times. But I look at where I'm at right now. It's like, this is a part of the process. This is what you got to do. This is why you got to do it. There's nothing wrong with you being in this state right now. Accept that. It's a part of your journey. The people who are in your life are a part of your journey. Everything that's going on is happening for a reason. So look at it. Take it. Take these things that are coming at you. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it doesn't fucking matter, but you got to move on. You got to make shit happen. So when I read that whole passage, there was something about it. It stuck to me a certain way, and I needed to share it with you guys. And it's not that the whole podcast had to be about it, because I didn't want to do that shit either, but it just hit a certain way. And I'm hoping that even in reading that, it hit some of you a certain way. And then it makes you guys think, and it makes you guys process shit a little bit different. And the same way, like I tell you at the end of the show, is like, talk about it with your partners, talk about it with your husbands, your wives, your kids, whatever, your friends, your coworkers, somebody. Even talk about it with yourself. Sit there, do this whole thing, read it, think about it, listen to it, write your shit down, go through it. I think we need to do that to ourselves too. We have to allow ourselves time to process the shit that we hear, the shit that we go through. Dude, like I have conversations with myself all the time. Like out loud. I'll be sitting there as I'm driving and I'm like, fuck, dude, what about this? Nah, what about this? What about this? It's like, I need to fucking hear it sometimes too. Whether it's I'm having the conversations with myself, or I'm talking about it with somebody I love and care for, or whatever it may be. But we have to be in this state that it's like, things aren't always going to be easy. It's not meant to be easy. I think for some people, they can have it easier than others. But I think for the most part, it's like, you're supposed to struggle, dude. It makes this fucking life worth living. It makes it everything that it's supposed to be. And it makes the moments that are good, it makes them so much sweeter. And that's my favorite part. Because it makes, like this past Saturday, so much sweeter. It makes engagements so much sweeter. It makes all of these things so much sweeter. And I couldn't ask for anything else. So with all of that being said, this is my advice for the week. You do not find a happy life. You create it. Life gets better when you choose honesty over convenience. Stop letting your inner critic make decisions for you. Prioritize your mental health over getting it all done. Realize that you don't have to carry everything alone. Stop waiting for a sign and take the first step. Prioritize quality over quantity in your relationships. Get out of your head and into the moment. And lastly, push through self-doubt and believe in your ability to create positive change. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys tons. Thank you for supporting me in this project. Thank you for listening, for watching, however it is that you take in the podcast. I appreciate you guys. And thank you for all of your continued support. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, an incredible weekend, and I will catch you guys on the next one.